Hi, it's Anna with Create Your Future. In today's video, I would like to explain to you why you don't want to ignore or suppress your negative emotions while manifesting, and give you a few tips on what you can do to release them and let them go. Before we start, if you would like to book a session with me, please check the link in the description below. So, negative emotions usually come up during the first period of the manifestation process. Every time you start manifesting something, you figure out your resistance, your blocks, any limiting beliefs, any limiting story that you have about that situation, that thing that you want to manifest. And often it comes with a lot of negative emotions in form of anxiety, stress, doubts, fears. And oftentimes what we do is try to ignore them so that we don't feel them, because it feels uncomfortable, it feels ugly, no one wants to feel bad. But by doing so, we suppress those emotions. And by suppressing, they stay there. They don't, your negative emotions don't go away. It's in you. It's some kind of programming, just like your old story. Like your mind gets programmed in the same way your body remembers emotions. You don't need to figure out where these emotions come from. You don't need to understand what's happening. If you do, that's wonderful. You can oftentimes solve it with just affirming the opposite. Sometimes if you feel something uncomfortable and you know what it is, you know what it makes you feel. For example, your SP rejected you, and that's the feeling of rejection, and you know how it feels, and you know that's it. You can affirm the opposite, which is I am chosen, or affirmations that resonate with you and your specific situation. But sometimes we have anxiety, we feel bad, and we don't know where it comes from. The important thing is not to ignore it, because you can ignore and suppress it, but it will just stay there and come up again every time it has a chance. And it will appear and reappear again and again for years until you let it go. By ignoring it, it won't disappear. And also, it won't disappear in time. It stays there. But there are ways of releasing it and freeing yourself from this ugly feeling. One of the ways is actually probably one of the most difficult things to do, which is feeling it. And when I tell my clients, you need to feel this negative emotion and accept it, they start fearing that it's like dwelling on the negative, on the old story, and manifesting more of it. And also it feels uncomfortable. No one wants to sit and feel it. But this is different from dwelling on the negative story. When you dwell and keep telling the negative story in your mind, you affirm and reaffirm that situation that you don't want to feel. You don't want to experience, sorry. But with emotions, by ignoring them, you keep them there. It's the same as ignoring the story. Like when a negative thought comes to mind and you just ignore it, it doesn't go away. You need to change it. You need to affirm the opposite of it. With feeling, you can affirm the opposite of it. You can affirm, I feel in peace, I feel happy, I feel joyful. But another thing that you can do is, as I said before, feel and accept it. And how do you do it? Whenever it happens, whenever you start feeling anxious, stressed, and usually when that happens, your mind becomes foggy. This is also why it's sometimes it's difficult to affirm, because when you're in a stressful situation, even though you know what you're manifesting and you know your affirmations, you know the scene that you're visualizing, your mind sometimes can't concentrate, like you can't find that phrase that you have been affirming for days. What you do is you sit still, you maybe close your eyes, and you start feeling that feeling in your body, which is negative, which is ugly, which is uncomfortable. But try to figure out where in your body it is. Sometimes it's in your belly, in your chest, in your throat. That's the most common place of emotions. Maybe it's in your head. It's different from person to person. You need to figure out, like, where does it feel, even though it's like more or less here. You close your eyes and you start to imagine that you're breathing in and out of that place in your body. What your mind will do is that it will start wondering, because it will start doing things to distract yourself from that negative emotion. Probably because we are so used to being detached from our body, detached from what is happening in our body, in our emotions, that we are not even used to feeling all the feelings that our body contains. In the same way, when you start manifesting, you realize that you have so many negative thoughts that you don't even notice most of the time. It's when you start doing the mental diet that you get used to it and you start catching them, so that you have less and less of them. But in the beginning, we have so many negative thoughts that it's just normal. It's just there. The same with the feelings. We are not used to it. Negative, especially the negative emotions. And when your mind starts wandering to distract yourself from feeling this emotion, you send the thought out and you bring your attention to that emotion again, just like meditating. Thoughts come in, you send them out. What I do sometimes is, like, I tell to, without judgment, without judging the thought, is it good, is it bad, is it important, it's not important right now, just for 5 minutes. Like, I will think of you in 5 minutes, like, leave me in peace right now. I'm doing something good for my body, for myself. You send the thoughts out and you bring your attention to that emotion place. You breathe in and out and you feel it and you accept it and you include it. By doing so, you, as absurd as it may sound, you release it. Why? Because what you resist persists. As soon as you start not resisting but accepting it, the negative emotion has nothing to fight back for. So you're not fighting it and it's not fighting you. So you actually open the gates and release this negative emotion, this uncomfortable, whatever is happening in you. If that is too difficult, because sometimes the stress is so strong, the anxiety is so strong that it becomes difficult to sit still and be with this emotion. Before I go to the next thing that you can do, it doesn't have to take a long time. It can take a few minutes, 2-3 minutes, 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Sit with it, feel it. It's uncomfortable. It's ugly. Like it's nothing. You don't enjoy it, but it's necessary to accept it so that you don't resist it, so that it doesn't persist. But if it becomes too difficult, if you become restless, the anxiety gets worse because it was really bad to begin with, or you just can't for some reason. Another thing that you can do is to write it down. And again, I know this sounds the opposite of what you should be doing because we use scripting for manifesting. And again, a lot of my clients say, but isn't it like scripting? Isn't it like manifesting more of it? It's actually not. And then when they do it, they actually see the difference of on how they feel. And I've used it myself a lot, and it's especially when it's really bad. What you do is you sit down and you write down what you feel. I feel angry, I feel anxious, I feel this and that because of this. And this is not the place that you want you want it to be pretty or sound beautiful. This is where you just write whatever comes to mind. Curse if you have to, call names if you have to, but just let it out. And what this does is it's like the feeling I get from it is like getting those negative thoughts and negative emotions also, because the meaning of this is to describe the emotions that you're feeling, the discomfort, the anger, the anxiety, the whatever it is. You get it out of you and you put it on the paper, and it's like cleansing. You write down as much as you feel you need. At some point, you will feel lighter because, again, the feeling is like cleansing it out of you. You describe it, I feel like this and like this. It feels bad, it feels uncomfortable, I hate it, this is the worst thing, whatever you need to write down. As you write and as you cleanse yourself, at some point you will feel that you don't need to keep going. And you will feel it. You know when to stop. I won't tell you like write a page or 2 pages. You will know. At some point, it's like you don't need it anymore. It starts to feel okay. It's like I can breathe again. And that is it. If you need to repeat it, do it. Sometimes you might need to do it several times a day. Sometimes not. Do it as long as you need to. Do it for as many days as you need to. But not with the feeling that, oh my goodness, if I sit down and write this, I am going to manifest it. You just need to know, again, because it's an assumption. Assumptions manifest. So you don't want to assume that you're doing something bad for yourself. It's better to assume that you're doing something good. Before we start, you will know for yourself that this is a cleansing process. It's not scripting. When you script, you have the story. It's beautiful. It feels good. You know you're creating. In that process, you are creating. It's a creative process. But when you write down your emotions to get rid of them, it's a cleansing process. Just the knowing it makes the difference. So you don't need to be scared to manifest more of it. You won't. A lot of my clients have been using this method. I have used it myself, and it actually helps in your manifestation. It also helps to understand yourself and your body. What is happening? What is this emotion? Where does it come from? Sometimes as you're writing and as it's flowing, thoughts come to mind that maybe are blocks, maybe limiting beliefs that you hadn't thought of before. So it's a really good tool to, first of all, cleanse yourself from this negative emotion, from this ugly, uncomfortable feeling. And on the other hand, it may help you to find a lot of limiting beliefs that you maybe don't realize you have. So definitely deal with your negative emotions. It's important. And it's important because they won't go away if you don't. If you don't want to do any of these 2 methods, you can actually affirm the opposite of what just happened. affirming, visualizing, any any of the processes of manifestation that I have described in my videos and with my clients, it works. You can manifest feeling better. You can manifest feeling in peace, just like you can manifest anything else. But this is just a tool to cleanse. It's a cleansing process. And try it out, see which one helps. Try both. I do both, actually. It depends on my mood of the day, and also depends where you are. You know, if you're in an office, you can lock yourself in the bathroom, for example, and sit there or stand there and close your eyes and do the meditation on the emotion for a few minutes. If you're in a place where you can write it down. But choose whatever is best for you. Choose whatever works for you. Just like in the manifestation process, I always say choose what you are best at, and choose whatever you like, what resonates with you. But definitely try it out, and let me know in the comments if you have done any of it and if it has helped. I hope this video made sense. I hope this is helpful. And again, if you would like to book a session with me, please check the link in the description below. Have a beautiful day.